Today, for episode 10, I have a very special guest for you guys. He drove all the way from Merced just to unpack his story. Carlos from Better Days. Introduce yourself, brother.
Hey, Carlos Padilla, aka Cafe Styles, Better Day, Merced, California.
Get comfortable, bro. Get comfortable. You
Yep.
get a little closer to the mic if you need to.
All right, all right.
All right, man. So let's hear your story. So you have what, 2 shops in Merced?
I have 2 shops currently. Yeah, 2 shops.
And how has it been with like managing that and like your personal life and then like with family too, correct?
I have family. Yeah. I have quite a lot going on right now, bro. Yeah.
Okay. And so how do you find the time to like run the business and then like from the time to actually like be there for your family? Because I mean, running 2 shops, I mean, now that I have a shop, I know what it takes to run a shop. It's one of those things where it's like how am I doing this, right? So how do you find the time to balance the personal life and the work life too?
You know what? Luckily for us, bro, we do get to build our own schedule, right?
Right.
And then for that reason, I do like I'll jump out of the shop to go have dinner with my family, for example. And then I'll jump back in and finish the day, go back. So I'm doing things like that where I'm taking off Monday and Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that does help out.
That's dope. So like, what does your workday look like? Like, are you jam packed all week, or like now that you have 2 shops, is it a little bit more like lenient for you? Like what does it look like now?
I'm currently working Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a solid schedule, bro. That's a solid schedule. Like that's what it looks like for me too. Like, especially because I have 2 kids now, and then I do coaching on the side, and then I also run the shop. Cause social media, dude, it's it's a lot, bro. It's a lot. But yeah, man. So like, what is like one of the biggest things that you see in the barber industry that you feel like could be better?
Could be better, huh? I don't know. Maybe more things like this, bro. More collaboration between the barbers and barbershops. I think that could be better.
I agree, bro. Just because, how we were saying earlier, like it really does suck that like a lot of barbers don't choose to help each other out for whatever reason. So like you've already built a culture, especially like having 2 shops in Merced. Like shit, like whenever I go to Merced, like that's the name that I think of is Better Days. So how did you build that brand, and like where did that name come from? Like how did you start off in the humble days of Better Days? Like how did that all come about?
Just being aware, bro, that I wanted to one day own my own barbershop, bro, and really paying attention to building my own personal brand first and building value to my brand, by learning, educating, just traveling, just educating myself, and at the same time being able to educate others because of that.
Yeah, dude, that's huge, because a lot of barbers expect to just get into a shop and then they're fully booked out. That's
false. Yeah, that's not the way it works. Yeah.
That's not the way it works. Like you really have to put your heart and soul. Especially, I mean, I definitely think it's easy if you love it. I mean, would you say you love barbering? Like, would you say you actually? Yeah, you see, so it's easy. Like to you, it's not hard. Like a lot of people ask me, like, how do you find the time to edit? How do you find the time? Well, I have no other option. This is my plan A. There's no plan B. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? So like as far as building a brand and stuff like that, what was the hardest thing of opening up the first shop?
The hardest, scariest thing, probably just that, bro. Being scared, having the fear of like, oh man, is it gonna work? Is it not? Is it gonna flop? Because you see that happen.
No,
You
yeah,
see that happen often,
and
yeah.
it happens very often, more than what you think, and especially with like if you, especially if you don't have like a mission statement, right? I'm sure you have a mission statement when it comes to you owning a shop and stuff like that, because it's important to have that, especially if you're trying to make it far. I mean, obviously you have two spots now. That's huge, but not a lot of people get there. So like, what is one thing you can say that got you there to owning 2 shops?
I think one thing that really helped me, bro, when I knew it was game time, I had to just let go of some vices, bro. Yeah,
Okay.
I had to really sacrifice. Yeah, a lot of sacrifice. It's gonna be hard to be able to win if you don't lose. You gotta take some weight off here and there, bro. To really focus.
Yeah, bro. And I think, speaking of vices, I think that's a huge thing, especially in the barber industry. Like a lot of barbers, they take the freedom that barbering offers for granted, right? Would you say like a lot would rather go off and smoke weed or go off with the barber quick and come back and that says a lot about that person at the end of the day, you know. Um, how did you know it was time to open up the second location?
How did I know? When I just I just felt where I was working at, like I had kind of I just kind of felt like I had outgrew it in a way, you know, like I didn't have any mood to be creative and be able to move. And I was like, okay, I feel like I grew this shell in a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's time for
yeah.
me to move on. Yeah.
That's how I felt too when I left the private suite. I was in a private suite for 4 years, bro. No, well, 3.5 years. I was in a private suite for way too long, and it's funny because in the beginning of me being in the private suite, I was like, oh, I don't want to open up a shop. And in the back of my mind, I'm like I knew that I wanted to, but I was told otherwise. Like, don't do that because it's so hard to find this, do this. But at the end of the day, I learned that having a brand is huge, especially when you're a barber, because people buy into that and they want to feel a part of something, you know. So I definitely agree with you when you know it's time to go, right?
Mhm.
Like it took me 3.5 years to finally leave my private suite to open up a shop, and yes, it was scary. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I think opening up this spot was the most money I've ever invested
Mhm.
into
Mhm.
myself,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I don't think barbers realize how much it takes to open up a shop. A lot of barbers think, oh, I'm gonna open a shop and hope for the best. Like, no, that's not how this works. I mean, would you say it's not how it works?
It's pretty complicated. There's a lot of unseen things, a lot that goes on behind the scenes, you know, to run a successful business. Yeah.
Yeah, a hundred
Hmm.
percent, bro, 100%. So, um, it does really boil down to like having a social media and like I mean, how often do you post on like Instagram and stuff like that?
Right now, you know what? I'm not posting as much as I'd like to. You know, I'm pretty consistent as far as the stories, but on my personal, like as far as like reels and things like that, I'm not doing as much as I feel like I could be right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I'm very big on social media. I'm sure you see my
Hmm.
my stuff and
Hmm.
videos and like stuff like that. I'm very big on that. Like especially like that's what the mindset was. Especially when I opened up this place, I was like, well, if I can do it for myself with no ad support, no Google support,
Hmm.
no walk-in traffic at a private suite, all through social media, then I figured, well, why not
Hmm.
open up a shop and do it that way? But obviously, running a shop and running up your own personal business is a little bit different. Would you say?
Definitely. Yeah.
Right?
It's a whole different thing.
It's a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
thing, yeah, bro. It's a whole different thing.
Hmm.
I definitely um thought I knew. I was like, oh, okay, I'm open up a shop and that's it. No, finding barbers, bro, is probably one of the hardest thing to do, man. I mean, like, how did you find your team and how did you like cultivate that culture? Because that's pretty much what I want here.
Okay.
Like, what is some advice you can offer to somebody that's opening up a shop
Hmm.
or that's already in that position that wants to build a culture the same way you did?
Just communication, bro. You know, we started off with three, four guys. Yeah, and we communicate with each other. We're trying to figure out, okay, look, that music, okay, so, maybe somebody was uncomfortable by it. Maybe we should try to switch it up this way and just, you know, maybe let's refrain from listening to a certain type of music, things like that, and just start communicating and realizing that we're all on the same page and we all want the same outcome at the end of the day, right?
That's awesome because like it's like I said before, it's really hard to find barbers and that operate on that kind of agenda because some or most would rather just go on their own and be on their own and like you know what I mean. So I think that's one of the biggest things for me when building a culture is finding the right people,
Mm-hmm.
find the right people and understand okay this is who I'm going to build with and this is how I'm going to do it. And if it doesn't work, well, then communication.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to that
Mm-hmm.
communication.
Mm-hmm.
You're 100% correct. Oh, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So how many years were you already
I
cutting hair
was cutting
already?
hair for about 16 years, bro.
Oh, that's a
Already.
lot. That's a
Yeah.
lifetime, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. And so what like made you like want to choose? And did you cut hair in high school or was it?
I was cutting hair in high school. Yeah, I was cutting hair a little bit in high school, and I started messing around with the bleach and stuff like that also in high
Oh,
school.
cool. Oh, that's right. So you do hair color,
I do.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
that's awesome.
I have my cosmetology license as
Oh,
well.
that's sick, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I see. 'Cause I don't hear that often because a lot of barbers just stop at barber license and then they just go with it. You know, so that's cool. So you were cutting hair in high school,
I was
or
cutting hair in high school already. Yeah, yeah, but I wasn't fully committed. until I was trying to figure out what to do. I went to a college, bro. In the college, the 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 counselor tells me, "Hey, go take this class. You don't know what you want to do. Go take this class." In the class, they make you take a test, like what time you wake up in the morning, how do you tie your shoes, just random questions. And at the end, they'll give you a list of things that you could potentially be good
Oh
at.
wow.
And one of those things was hairdressing and barbering. I said, "Oh, let me check it out. I'm already doing that. Might as well push further."
Yeah. So it's funny because I have a similar story to that. Because in high school I was cutting hair, but I never took it serious. It was just like, oh, I'm cutting hair. I'm hanging out with my friends, right? I mean, would you say that's what most barbers do nowadays? They just kind of cut hair and hang out with their friends, you know?
Yeah, I see that. I see that quite often,
You know. So yeah, no. I started cutting hair at age 13, and my mom really couldn't afford sending us to the shop cada rato, you know? Like it was very hard for us back in the day. So she would buzz us bald, bro. Just like the rapa, bro. Just just zero all around, bro. And I remember this one day. I'm never gonna forget this. The day I picked up a clipper, I'm never gonna forget it. And it was weird because when I picked it up, I was like, okay, this feels good. Like I think I don't know, but I'm gonna roll with it. I my mom told me, she goes, hey, can you actually go and cut up your brother's hair, because we're gonna go to Mexico and I don't have time. I'm packing up all this stuff and you're not doing anything. So just at the time I was 13 years old. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. And I ended up liking it. I ended up liking it, and then I ended up asking my brothers. I was like, hey, like at the end of the day, if I fuck you up, you're gonna go zero anyway. So let me practice. And that's when it started. I started cutting their hair, and from there it just took off, dude. And from there it went from my uncles to my dad, and then my dad realized, okay, you can cut hair pretty good. You can cut my hair. I was like, all right. And I was so I was so nervous cutting my dad's hair. I pretty much fucked him up. I'm not gonna lie. But I feel like you have to learn though, right? Like you have to learn in those situations, and I didn't care if I fucked people up. It was what it was, right? You know. What's it called? What has building a shop in Merced shaped you as a barber and a leader, bro? Like how did Merced like come up? Like, are you from Merced or?
From Merced,
Oh,
bro. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
cool.
How did that shape me? Yo, so Merced, I grew up in also kind of like you, bro, in a really I guess you could say like in a really like a poor family.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it just kind of out of necessity, like, hey, hey, cut your brother's hair, or things like that. Similar story, bro. But my story, my dad was in and out of prison the whole time. Yeah,
Oh
living in
wow.
Merced. Yeah, so he was selling drugs, or grew up in like in a domestic violence, like really really troubled. I guess you could say I had like a really troubled childhood. Yeah,
Okay.
and so it just shaped me in a way that it put me in certain situations where like I had to see myself out of things, since like my dad wasn't there, for example,
Oh
and so
wow.
I had to try to figure out how to navigate alone a lot. And for a while I would take that and see it like as a bad, like, oh, my life sucks because of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I got older, I realized like I'm able to do things alone because of it. It put me in a situation where I can like it was something like a burden, but now I turned it into like strength almost. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool because a lot of people that are put in that position, there's one or two things that can happen, right? But you turned it into a positive, and that's honestly cool because not a lot of people do that, especially coming from a very troubled childhood. They use that as an excuse or a crutch, I can't do that because I'm poor. I grew up this way, you know, and so hearing that it's really it's really inspiring because not a lot of people choose the positive. They rather just use their situation as like, oh, I can't do this because of where I'm from. And you took that and you know what, yeah, this is my situation, but I'm not gonna let this stop me. You know what I mean? That's honestly dope, bro. So like, what does the future look like for Better Days, bro?
For better days, we have a couple of things planned. I don't really like to talk too much about what we're doing
No, of
right
course,
now.
no. Like yeah,
As far as like what we probably planning some trips.
that's cool,
Planning
bro.
some trips, more education as always, bro. Education is key. Like I was telling you earlier, like traveling before all this, like right now is like Instagram and this stuff, bro. There used to be we didn't have any of it,
Mm-hmm.
so there was no YouTube, none of that, bro. So I would have to go to the Bay Area and check out some dope hairstyles or something and bring them back for the community. You know what
That's
I mean?
awesome,
And
bro.
so now we're still doing that, but just like I said, like flying out to London, flying out to Miami, flying out to New York, flying out to these places and bringing back techniques and skills.
Bro, that's so sick, bro. And the fact that like you're able to you're able to go and do these things and make yourself better as an entrepreneur, barber, and all that, and then bring it back for the community and just build off that is so cool because a lot of barbers just want to stay in one spot and they don't want to continue growing, right? And you're taking it a step further. And what I think it would be cool is if you were to like document that kind of stuff. Because a lot of people like seeing that, bro. I would love to follow you on that journey. You know.
Okay.
Do you plan to go back to like London and stuff like that or no?
Yeah. We're going. Hopefully by the end of this year, we'll go back to New York, bro. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then
Oh shit.
Spain. I want to go to Spain next, bro, because I have a couple barbers that I look up to and admire, and I want to go learn
That's
from
it.
them.
What is like the one barber right now? Would you say is like the one that's like that's killing it for you?
Man, this guy Emma from I think
He's
Argentina.
sick. He's sick, bro. Like I don't know how he does his blends, bro.
Something. Huh?
It's so cool. Like he's very big on the on thinning shit, right? Like he
Mhm.
that's all. Yeah, I don't know how he does it. I tried, I tried doing it. I'm like, okay, dude, I think this takes so much patience. I'm gonna need to see this in person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
bro.
got to see him in Mexico, bro.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool,
when
bro.
he was touring Mexico, and I got to see him there. But I think, like you say, like, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think I could do this. But then it's like they're just not the same. So you're like, okay, there's something I missed a step. I think.
Yeah, no. So, I definitely think there's a difference between seeing it and then having him like there overseeing you do it, right? I mean, I definitely think that if he was overseeing you do it, I think it'd be a lot. You know what I mean? It would make a lot more sense,
It would
right?
make a difference, bro. Like in karate, where they have you like hold a certain stance, or you're holding it here, but you're supposed to be holding it up here, for example.
Right.
Yeah, bro. It's important. So you said you coach, bro. What do you coach, bro?
So, I coach barbers online
Mhm.
on how to scale their business, whether it be high ticket or volume of clientele.
Mm.
And the way I do that is through social media and client acquisition. And pretty much what that is finding solutions for your hair, pretty much.
Mm.
And pretty much the way you do that is recording people that have a certain hair problem, whether it be like thinning hair on top or whether it be like a patchy beard or something, and showing how you fix it can dictate someone coming in for a haircut from you, whether it be from a different city. Like I got people coming in from Watsonville, Salinas,
Mm.
San Francisco, San Jose,
Hollister,
yeah,
yeah.
Hollister area too, bro. Just for sole fact of social media. Like the one I had a client today come from Salinas just for a lineup because he's seen my lineup work.
Also,
You see?
yeah.
So I definitely think that if it worked for me, why couldn't it work for other people?
Mhm.
You know.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm teaching right now online is how to shoot content, how to edit content, what clips to get. Because I mean, I get it, bro. Like shooting content can be very like threatening, not threatening, but like very scary, or like not scary in the sense of like, oh, this is like I can't do it, but what to shoot,
Mhm.
right? I make it very easy. Like one of the things that I teach is a 3-clip sequence, right? A 3-clip sequence is hair falling off, showing a difference being made, and a transformation,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
The easiest one that I would say to get started today is a satisfying clip. Like make it as satisfying and pleasing to the eye as possible. Like I'm sure you've seen those videos of the soap being cut,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Mhm.
why do you watch it, right? Like why do you watch that? Because it's satisfying. It's very pleasing to the eye. It gives you that dopamine rush.
Mhm.
Like, oh, cool. This is what I want to watch at this time, and it gives you that dopamine hit. You know, so if you can apply that, and then got the whole video and had them watch to the end, that you can possibly convert someone from another city. That's why I definitely think every barber or service people in the service industry should be on social media showing what they can do.
That's powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. So I definitely think that if in any industry you're in, service industry mostly, if you can show something satisfying, someone's gonna watch that. Because I mean, think about it, bro. To the average person, right? Cutting hair isn't always that intriguing. Like it's kind of boring to the average person. But if you can make it as like exciting as possible, and as engaging as possible for them to stick all the way to the end, you can possibly convert that client and have them come in with it wherever they're from. I think the farthest person I had was he was in town from LA, and he's like, bro, I didn't cut my hair because I wanted to come and get a haircut from you.
Specifically, that's cool.
That's so crazy to me. I'm like, what are you talking about right now, bro? And then recently I had this one dude from Houston. He's a truck driver. He has family here in town. Same thing. He goes, bro, I was literally watching your videos and kind of find out you're in my aunt's town, and I had a route in there, so I stopped by for a haircut. Like, I'm from Houston, but I'm not even from here, which is crazy. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I definitely think every barber should be on social media in some way, shape, or form. I think the easiest thing to do is your stories, because your story, so your posts are going to attract people to your page. Whatever you post is going to attract people to your page. So your page is a storefront. Better Days is a storefront, right? That's your storefront. The stories are what's going to convert people to come see you. So whether it be a lifestyle, whether it be food or something, like, as long as you can get someone to relate to you, they'll be like, okay, I want to get a haircut from this guy because he's wearing a green shirt and I love green or something. Yeah, does that make sense? I recently learned something. It's called the 5 F's of business. It's faith, fashion, fitness, and food, and there was one more. But if you can get someone to relate to any of those things, you can have them come in, bro. Like, does that make sense? Like, at the end of the day, like I don't watch sports, but someone can see my hat, like, oh, bro, I love the Padres too because I have a Padres hat. But for me, it's like I just like the logo. You know what I mean? But the fact that you have that on, or like, let's say, for example, you golf or whatever. Do you golf?
No, I have, but no, not right.
But but some, or whatever sport you play. What kind of sport do you like, fitness wise?
Currently, I'm into running.
Okay, see, so like a lot of there's a huge community around running. So if you were to show yourself running and stuff like that, lifestyle posts, people would actually personalize with you, and okay, I'm gonna go see this guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay. And that's how you're able to scale your business. Like, I was able to scale from $25 a haircut to $75 in just 8 months by doing those things.
Wow, that's cool. And running a shop is a whole different thing, bro. I was able to open up three and a half shops in the last 4 years, bro.
3.5 shops?
Yeah.
So it's not two. It's
no. Currently, I have two, bro. So we went down to Main Street. Didn't really care too much for Main Street. So then we saw an opportunity, like you were saying, at another one. So we were able to pass that one off, and then we grabbed the new location that they're in front of Walmart.
Oh, cool.
And
cool.
So that was a good trade off for us. We're like, okay, because that's part of it just nonstop, bro. Walmart's doing good, then that means the barbershop's doing good, bro. Yeah.
So what is like the average cut right now, Merced right now, like
the price wise?
Yeah.
You know what, Merced, I want to say it's $35-$40, bro.
Oh, it's about the same here then. Same here. Yeah, okay. Same here. But yeah, like I was saying, dude, like, there, if you were to, like, I mean, do you aspire, like, what do you value more? Do you value a high ticket, or do you value like more like volume?
Personally, a high ticket, I think, is it's better for everyone.
Better, yeah, way better.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of my experiences, especially dealing with people at the lower ticket, I realized that they're a little bit more picky. Mm-hmm. They're a little bit more picky. Like I feel like people at the lower price point are more like, okay, what more can I get from this $4 haircut or $35 haircut, right? Like, what more can I get from this? Opposed to when you charge $75 to $100, you kind of know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, like, are your clients speaking? I'm like, not really, because I built that trust also online.
That's true. Yeah.
So in total, how many barbers do you have in total with, like, the whole team?
Currently, bro, it's 18 of us. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's 18 of us. We did have this thing where a couple barbers had a move. One of them got his own studio. Yeah, and another one he's actually a university student. And while he was going to the UC, bro, he was also going to school to be a barber. Yeah. And so he was able to do that in the 4 years that he was here, to get his barber license and be able to work with us. And after he graduated, he went back to LA.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh shit! Cool. That's cool, bro. Yeah. That's dope. That's cool for him. That's cool for him because at the end of the day, like, I mean, do you see yourself cutting hair forever, or
you know what?
Or as long as, like, you can?
I think I don't mind it personally. Maybe, taper down a bit as I get older, but the thing about it is that I consider it an art, bro. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
same
think I'll
here.
always be making
Yeah,
art. Yeah.
yeah, same here. I think one of the things, like one of my goals is I definitely want to make this a thing where I want to cut hair because I want to, not because I have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a lot more fun that way.
Yes.
Fun that way, opposed to like when you're doing it for money, right, or monetary gain. Like I would love to have social media pay my bills, and then for me to cut hair for free. Like I would love to do that, you know. Um, but you know how this works. You can't have it all, right? Um, but yeah, man, it's pretty cool what you're doing at Merced because, like I said before, like your shop is a shop that I think of whenever I'm out there, and I'm out there pretty often, so I should probably stop by and check you guys out.
Yeah, bro. Check it out.
Which location are you mostly at?
Currently, I'm at the original on the 18th and P Street, bro, the downtown location. Yeah.
Okay, and okay,
Yeah, I'm there, bro, and then and then the Walmart location. Yeah.
okay, okay, and how do you manage both, like for yourself, like? Do you like, because obviously you have your own clientele, right? So how do you manage doing both shops? Like do you just say your clients, "Oh, I'm at this location today," or?
No, bro, I stay at one location, bro. And then the guys at Walmart, they're good guys, bro. They're able to take care of the spot, bro. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
I'm lucky, bro.
That's a blessing, bro. Because like I said before, it's really hard to find a solid team, especially and especially in barbering. I definitely feel like I have a solid team here right now. But I can definitely tell you that in the beginning it was a rough start, bro. Like a rough start. Like I definitely feel like coming from a private suite to owning a barbershop is night and day, dude. It's night and day because how you said earlier, like it's communication. Like that's huge when it comes, especially if you're an owner, right? Like you have to address things as soon as they happen. And then that's one of the things I'm learning is I have to address things as soon as things happen, because if I don't, then things just get worse and worse and worse, and that's one of the things that I'm currently learning right now is addressing things as soon as they happen, because if I don't, it just gets awkward, and it's like, it's just, you know what I mean? So I can tell you right now, like like I said before, it's not easy running a shop, and I mean it is, but it's not. Like there's days where it's like I gotta go to the shop today. I have to clean. I have to do this. I have to do that. Do you do all your cleaning, or do you?
I have a friend that helps me, bro. I have a couple friends that help me.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
so that's a few of us that.
That's cool. That's cool.
At least two of us that go in there and knock it out, bro. Because it's something that has to be done at least every week, bro, as far as like a deep clean, because if not, it's gonna get so many people, so much traffic, bro.
Yeah, I have so I clean the shop once a week myself, and then I have a cleaning lady that comes in once a week as well, so it gets cleaned twice a week.
Nice.
And there's always hair everywhere, like regardless,
Yeah.
like no matter what you do, there's hair everywhere. But as long as you wipe shit down, I think you should be fine, right? So what was it like being in London, bro? Like being in London, like you went to go see
Josh OP.
that's cool,
Josh
bro.
OP, and then another friend of ours that does that was with the Menspire. Menspire.
I love Menspire, bro.
Yeah, bro. So I was able to learn from these guys, but it was freaking it was all good until I got onto the plane, bro. And once I got onto the plane, I started to have like almost like a panic attack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I realized like, wow, this is like an 11-hour flight. I've never been overseas like that, and this is pretty scary. They put me next to the window, and I just felt like enclosed, bro. It's a big plane, bro. You know, if you're driven in those flew in those big planes, bro, they have a row of like 3-4 seats, and then a hallway, and then another 3-4 seats, and then another hallway. It's just so many people, bro. And we're gonna be flying over these oceans. I got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I just had to kind of remind myself of why I was there. And then I thought, you know what? Okay, I'm here, but it could be a lot worse,
Yeah.
And so like, okay, I wanted to be here. This is my choice. Let me, let me do what I came to do.
That's powerful, because a lot of people will let their fears dictate what they can do, right? Like a lot of people, believe it or not, like I mean, that's one of the reasons why I haven't gone to London. I mean, I've gone on a plane. I'm fine, but I can say that I kudos to you, bro, because I'm sure when you came back, you were thankful you went.
Yes,
right?
definitely
Right.
yes. Uh-huh.
So, like, what is one thing that you can share with us today on the podcast that you learned out in London from Joshua P. or whatever your experience was?
Hmm. Just that, bro. You know, just be able to know that certain situations you're gonna have to be afraid and you're gonna have to go through it anyway. Yeah, you're gonna have to just 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 go for it. You know,
Yeah,
yeah. And there's no way around it. You know, you can't go around it, bro. What am I gonna do? Get off and walk there, or get on a boat? There's no way around it. You have to go through it. Yeah.
that's huge, bro. That's huge because um you're making me want to just book a flight and go to London, bro. That's awesome. So, like, what was one of the toughest seasons in your journey, and how did you overcome it?
Toughest seasons in my journey.
Like, what is one thing that you knew that okay, this could have broken me, but I didn't let the shit break me?
Um, I'm not sure. Something that was pretty scary and pretty challenging was obviously like the pandemic, you know, where it was there's so much uncertainty and they're like, oh, it's gonna be a year before everything is back to normal. And you start to realize like, wait, you know, like where are we gonna feed our families? Like, you know, that was pretty
Yeah.
scary.
But if you think about it, the pandemic was kind of a blessing for barbers,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Because it made people realize that you look good, you feel good,
Mhm.
you know. And it wasn't until the pandemic prices were like $25,
It's true.
right?
That's
And the pandemic happened, it shot up to 40, 50,
That's true.
60, 70, 75, $100. Like now you see barbers charging almost $400 a haircut down south, down in LA. And I definitely think that in 2020 was a big shift for the service industry, and not just barbering, but the service industry in general.
Okay.
You know, because we started seeing that all these politicians getting haircuts and like, well, what the fuck? What about us? You know,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I guess like one of the things that I feel like for me was very challenging was the beginning of opening this place up, and there was like this predicament that happened with a few other barbers that shouldn't have happened, but I got through it the best way I could, you know. It was a bunch of disagreements. It was more so of like um like I thought we were all gonna do this together type deal thing, and now I'm alone.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know. So I definitely feel like that did break me to a certain extent, but then I realized like, you know what, dude, it is what it is. Just keep pushing. There's no other way around. Like how you said, there's literally no way around this, and I'm gonna make something happen out of this. You know, you know what I mean? I mean, like you walk into my shop, and it's not traditional, right? In traditional shops, you have you have rows.
Yes.
You know, here it's literally a house. I mean, I think isn't Better Days
Yeah, yeah.
is
Or
similar.
one of our locations is a house that we converted into a barber studio, bro. Yeah.
That's sick, bro.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Mhm.
That's sick. That's sick.
But it's cool. At the same time, it has its strengths, you know, bro. It has its exclusivity, you know. It has its because, for example, there's people that go to us that are like lawyers and stuff that don't necessarily want to go in a barbershop where there's another 15 people, 20 people watching you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's a more intimate.
Yeah,
People
that's
do appreciate that as well.
yeah. And me coming from a private suite, I definitely wanted to offer that exclusivity to some degree, but I knew that I was gonna have to sacrifice something,
Mhm.
and I honestly prayed about it, and this is a gift, you know.
A good middle.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's a
it's a
good
good
middle.
middle, you know, and I'm not done with this place. Like I said before, I do plan to do more with it. It's just for now. I'm mainly focused on the necessities, man. I just want to focus on the foot traffic, make sure all the barbers here are booked out, you know. And I think as a leader, right, as a leader, you can definitely relate to that, you know, where excuse me, where if all your other barbers eat, then you win too.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, they eat first. If anything, bro, you work here for them. Yeah.
Yeah,
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 bro.
100%. You know, so um, what's like the legacy that you want to leave behind, not just as a barber, but as a person?
Hmm.
It's a little thinker, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty interesting, bro.
Because, bro, like I'm telling you before, bro, like Better Days is a culture. Like I hear a lot of good things about Better Days and stuff like that. So, and I can definitely see how Better Days reflects you as a person from how you said your upbringing and how like you had a troubled childhood and stuff like that. I can definitely see Better Days being the better day, the
Okay.
better day, you know. So like I definitely think that alone is the legacy, in itself, right? You know, but then as a person, what do you what do you feel like you want people to remember you as?
Just that, bro. You know, just n- just knowing that you're different, bro. Yeah, everybody's different, and everybody has their 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 corner set. You know what I mean? Their
Right,
space, and
right.
to be able to grow and to be able to flourish and to be able to just live a good life, bro.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, bro. It's awesome. I definitely think there's enough for all of us to go around. Like there's not just one way to do things. There's multiple ways to do this. You know, like there's the private suite way. There's the barbershop way. There's like you can rent a chair and still be successful, right?
Definitely.
Right.
Hmm.
Like I know there's a stigma where like barbers have to open up a shop. No, you don't. Like you know, if it's that's not in your purpose or your path, then you don't need to do that. Of course, if you want to, right? You know how I was saying before, that if you want to, that's fine.
No, bro. There's barbers in my shop that make more money than me, bro.
You
A
know,
lot of money, bro. Just from cutting hair, they're just focused on that, bro. They're making over $100,000, bro. You know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, and that's huge, especially being in the service industry and like how far barbering has come to people respecting it as an actual craft, the actual art. Like people think, oh, it's just a haircut. It shouldn't be that much for a haircut. Well, if that's the case, then go to Supercuts.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean?
mm-hmm, hmm.
But I think people only care when it's not only a haircut is when they mess you up. Once they mess you up, once they mess your haircut up, it's no longer just a haircut no more. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you've pretty much offended me. You pretty much,
It's beef. It's pretty much beef after that.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty much beef after that. So no, it's not just a haircut.
Right.
It's how people, it's how the world sees you and how you feel about yourself at the end of the day,
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, do you plan to expand like to others? Like, do you see yourself in Merced, or do you see yourself like
I think
expand?
there's opportunities, bro. Yeah, and we're just kind of always, always, just being, aware, being open to it. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, like from what I know about you now, bro, I think if you continue on this path, there's no limit to where you can go, bro. Honestly,
Well, thank you, bro.
you know
Thank
what I
you.
mean. Is there anything else that you would like to ask or say to the people out there? And
Now for the people, bro, just remember to believe in yourselves. Yeah. That's the most important thing, bro. No one's gonna come to save you, bro. You gotta believe in yourself. Yeah.
yeah, that's very true. I can back that up because at the end of the day, like you can pray and pray and pray, but God's not playing with your laziness.
Mm.
Like he's not gonna bless you just because you want it. You have to put in your half too.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
At the end of the day. So, but yeah, dude, like where can the people find you if they want to ask questions, if they want a haircut from you? Like, where do you think
Yeah.
where can they find you?
You can find me on the corner of 18th and P Street in Merced at Better Days, right? But as far as social media, is cafe underscore styles and Better Days underscore barber studio.
I love
Yeah.
that, bro. I love that. Well, thank you for coming by today, bro. This was the goal was 25 minutes, but this was a really good conversation. It went over. I'm excited for you guys to hear this guy's story. It's a very compelling story, and this won't be the last time I have you on. All right, bro?
No, bro.
No, there will be a part two. I definitely would want to know in the next 6 months where Cafe Styles is and where Better Days is at, right?
Thank you.
You know,
Hmm.
there you guys have it, bro. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys watched to the very end, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. What was your favorite part about Carlos's story? And if you have any questions, please tap in. Don't be shy. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you
Good
so
on,
much,
bro.
bro. Thank you so much, bro.